Ready, hunt!
From the El Popco Studios in Oklahoma City, this is a signing day update. I'm Jenny Carlson. Jason Kersey joins us to talk about Oklahoma and their signing day ventures. Jason, so far so good for the Sooners. At mid-morning, still don't have everybody in, but no surprises out there for this signing day class. Let's evaluate this class a little bit. What do you see as the strengths of this class for the Sooners?
I think you got to look at wide receivers and defensive backs. I think that they're bringing in some defensive backs that can immediately contribute. Hatari Bird and Ahmad Thomas could wind up being the two starting safeties. And then at receiver, just Jay Norvell continues to really be the elite recruiter on the staff, I think, bringing in lots of talented receivers that could eventually be really strong contributors on the team.
Do you feel like there are some areas that maybe ended up being lacking for this recruiting class, that Oklahoma maybe didn't get all the guys that they had maybe hoped to get, or some numbers to shore up specific spots?
I think offensive linemen, particularly tackles, is an area where they wanted to do more. They clearly wanted to do more. They went after a lot of guys that they just couldn't seal the deal on late in the process. And really, in a lot of these cases, they waited too long to go after them. But they did get, a guy like Josiah St. John, for example, JUCO guy that could come right in and possibly compete for a starting job. But I think that I'd point at that position as one that really, I'm sure that if you gave them the truth serum, they'd admit they're a little disappointed that they didn't do more.
You mentioned the strength position for wide receiver and defensive back, but probably the top of the class, the guy that is most highly touted in this group, is Keith Ford. Talk a little bit about the running back and what we maybe can expect out of him as a Sooner.
Well, I think Keith Ford is a guy that can really. He's got speed. He's got power. He's a guy that could come in and really do some good things eventually. I don't think he's going to be called upon much early. They still got Damian Williams. They still have Brennan Clay. And then they still have Alex Ross, David Smith, and Daniel Brooks, all guys who redshirted this year. So I think that Keith Ford is the top player, maybe the most premier player in the class, but I don't expect that he would play much next season, if at all.
So who are some of these guys that are in this recruiting class that you expect to play? You mentioned those defensive backs. Are they the most likely candidates to see actual playing time next season?
Well, I think I'd look at those two, and then I also would say Jordan Evans and Dominique Alexander, the two linebackers in the class. They're outside guys. The Sooner coaches have apparently told these guys that they're switching to a 3-4 defense next year. If they do that, these two are exactly the kind of guys they're going to need to play. And Jordan Evans actually told me last night when I saw him that he is not redshirting. He was very adamant that he is not redshirting, that Tim Kish has said those guys are going to be expected to contribute. So I'd say those two, the two safeties, and then and I think Quincy Russell, the junior college defensive tackle, and then Josiah St. John, like I mentioned earlier, the offensive tackle, junior college guy.
All right, great stuff. Thanks for joining us, Jason. And be sure to stay here for all of our signing day coverage. And you can see us every day in the Oklahoman and all the time online at News OK.